with coverage you can count on. This is the Erie News Nowcast.
Good Monday morning. I'm Mark Soliday. Time for a quick check of some of the stories we are following here at Erie News Now. We begin with now former Hurricane Ida continuing to weaken as it moves further inland away from the Gulf Coast region. The storm, though, leaving behind quite the mess in its wake. I do want to give you a live look at the somewhat improving conditions, certainly in New Orleans, Louisiana right now. Daylight not only revealing the extent of the damage down in New Orleans, it's also letting folks in that area see clearly. The storm basically knocked out power to more than 1 million people, including pretty much all of New Orleans. Ida crashed into Louisiana Sunday as a Category 4 hurricane, bringing life-threatening floods, catastrophic damage to parts of the state. These images actually come from Matthews, Louisiana, a little bit west of New Orleans. So far, officials have confirmed 1 fatality from the storm. Again, Ida has since weakened to tropical storm status. More breaking news out of Kabul, Afghanistan this morning. A live look for you at the airport over in Kabul. We can get that for you as we move through this edition of the Nowcast. The U.S., other countries are still at this point racing to evacuate people ahead of President Biden's withdrawal deadline. That is coming up at midnight tomorrow. So, yeah, obviously night has fallen over in Kabul. Again, this is the airport where the evacuation effort continues. Rocket fire apparently targeting Kabul's airport did not halt the steady stream of those U.S. military C-17 cargo jets. 9 members, meantime, of one family, including 6 children, all reportedly killed in a U.S. drone strike targeting a vehicle in a residential neighborhood of Kabul. That happened early today, all coming after last week's suicide bombing that killed at least 13 U.S. service members, along with more than 160 Afghans. Meantime, President Biden traveled to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware Sunday. It was to witness the transfer of those remains of those 13 U.S. soldiers. The president watched as the flag-draped caskets came off the plane, were carried to those transfer vehicles of the service members who lost their lives in that suicide bombing, ranged in age from 20 to 31. Well, switching now to coronavirus coverage as we start off this new week. Our local hospitals seeing a surge in the number of COVID patients, according to the state health department. Haven't been this many people being admitted to the hospital here at home with COVID since back in March. The latest numbers out of Harrisburg show Erie County's average daily number of COVID-19 hospitalizations has gone from about 25 a day earlier this month to 41 last week. Erie County's 2-week average of hospitalizations has been this high since February, and the average number of local COVID patients on ventilators, that went from fewer than 2 last week to more than 4 this week. So, yeah, while still relatively low, it has more than doubled just in the past week or so. Erie County's weekly number of new COVID cases went up to 287 last week. The 7th straight week that number has gone up. Well, it's a big week for kids making their way back to school all across the region. Students in the area's largest district actually made their way back to class a little earlier this morning. And like the students here at Erie's Harding Elementary, kids from all across Erie County are required to wear those face masks in class and on the school bus, at least to start off this new school year. That after Erie County Executive Kathy Dahlkemper issued a mask mandate for schools in the county last week. According to the Erie School District's website, they're still maintaining the same cleaning regimen and some of the other COVID mitigations they had in place for the last school year. And we are expecting to get more information from local authorities today after a deadly weekend shooting. Police say it could be a murder-suicide. That's how they're investigating it at this point. All happened around 2 a.m. Saturday. A call for shots fired at this duplex, the 500 block of Lincoln Avenue in Erie. Neighbors told police they initially heard screams, then gunshots, and cops got there. They say they found a man and a woman, both dead from apparent gunshot wounds. No word yet on their identities. That police investigation continues. State police looking into a fatal weekend crash. Happened in some heavy rain, they say, along Route 19 down in Waterford on Saturday. A 21-year-old, Paige Hott, died at the hospital shortly after crashing into a tree. Troopers say it was that bad weather, wet road conditions, both potentially playing a role in that deadly crash. New evacuation orders are issued for folks out in El Dorado and Alpine counties in California, all because of that wildfire known as the Caldor fire. That fire moved faster than expected on Sunday. They say it's showing no signs of slowing down. So for the first time, people in the Tahoe Basin out in California are in those evacuation orders. The Caldor fire initially broke out back on August 14th. It's still the top priority for firefighters across the U.S., but they say those resources are getting stretched pretty thin out west with other fires, of course, burning across parts of California. And closer to home, we saw the annual Crawford County Fair wrap up this past weekend, so now it's Erie County's turn. The work to get everything ready for the annual Wattsburg-Erie County Fair continued on Sunday. It all officially kicks off at 4 this afternoon. They've got harness racing, a rodeo, tractor pulling, a whole lot more on that schedule, live music as well. So, yeah, plenty to offer up at the fair, along with all that great fair food. This one's going to be one of the few fairs in our area to offer up those amusement park-style rides this year. All right, meteorologist David Walter, we were dealing with some rain here at home a little bit earlier on. Hopefully going to dry up for opening night at the fair.
Yeah, things right now, we are relatively quiet across the area. Still hanging on to a couple of lingering showers out there. Humidity is still up just enough, but we'll notice those numbers fall, especially as we get into the afternoon, as we get a look at that hazy sunshine out there over the bay and over downtown. Right now, we are sitting at 77 degrees, and it feels like 79 when you do factor in the humidity, but we are getting a more of a northwesterly wind. We'll increase that wind as we go through the day. Right now, we are still watching just a couple of isolated showers out there. You can see south of Interstate 90, and this is just north of Wattsburg out there towards the Erie County Fairgrounds. And for this morning, still another shower or two scooting on through, and you can see back into the higher elevations, we could have a quick shot at some heavier showers, and still a few more showers really from about Oil City to Tidiute, Sheffield, Kane, maybe hanging on a bit later on in the afternoon, but that drier air will really start to move on in. Still dealing with some of those areas of clouds out there, maybe even a couple of patchy areas of fog to start off the day on a Tuesday. All right, all eyes continue to be on Ida. Obviously, now we're starting to see the extent of the damage. There's massive, massive power outages, including to most of the city of New Orleans, which is really going to be a huge, huge problem, as you know, temperatures down there on very, very sunny days, even on not very sunny days, can get well into the 90s, so that's going to be very tough for those folks. You can see the center circulation right here starting to work towards Jackson, Mississippi. Most of the rain has really been on the eastern side of the storm. It is a tropical storm still with winds of 45 miles per hour. We continue with that onshore flow, so we're still getting some storm surge down there in the coastal Mississippi and even parts of southeast Louisiana. Storm will continue off to the north and east. It looks like a cold front will keep it farther to our south. I really don't see us getting anything more than maybe a very isolated shower as we step into your Wednesday. Right now, as we check outside, we are certainly dealing with the warm weather. Temperatures lower 70s into Meadville, as well as Warren 71 in Jamestown, 77 in Erie. And yes, it is still quite humid out there, waiting for these numbers to start scooting back just a little bit, but you can see we're on the oppressive side of things. We're hoping to get it down to more so noticeable during the afternoon, but with that wind blowing things around just a bit, helps to kind of break up the stagnation in the air. And you can see, I think we're getting a little happier about these humidity levels later on in the week, as we are feeling a bit better out there, at least a little bit more comfortable. So still have some of the showers out there. Could see another one or two inland as we get into the afternoon. Still keeping things warm, but humidity levels, I can promise you, during the afternoon hours especially, they will start to scoot it down just a bit. We'll talk about the 7-day in just a moment.
All right, thank you, David. Oh, we're still, about a month away from Major League Baseball's World Series, but a group of kids from Michigan are starting off this new week as World Series champs. We're talking the Little League World Series. Yeah, this is the Taylor North Little League team from Michigan. They defeated a squad from Hamilton, Ohio, 5-2 final score Sunday to take that 2021 Little League World Series championship, and the celebration was on. These kids, part of the first team from Michigan to win that LLWS title since 1959. No international teams at the Little League World Series this year because of the pandemic. So yeah, 2 teams from each U.S. region got to go. And yeah, both of those teams, Ohio and Michigan, hailing from the Great Lakes region. Yeah, carry that banner proudly for those young ones. All right, David, we've got some more comfortable stuff, it looks like, coming in. I think tonight, this past night, might have been the past kind of tough to sleep night for a while.
Yeah, very warm and humid conditions. When you have humid conditions, it prevents temperatures from cooling off a whole lot at night. But when you start to get some drier air in, you can see those low temperatures going down a little bit more as we continue through the week, and you'll definitely feel that more comfortable feeling in the air towards the latter half of the week. Look at those temperatures, only in the middle 70s, maybe a shower on Wednesday, but rain chances after just a handful of showers today are pretty low, even as we extend into the weekend. There's a chance by Sunday that we could be looking at a few more of those showers and temperatures getting close to that 80-degree mark. So again, a change of pace, and guess what Wednesday is? That's the first day of September. So that's meteorological fall, and of course, a few weeks later, that's when we actually truly get into the fall season. So we're seeing those temperatures come down, but we know we can still get plenty of heat even in September.
Yeah, a little fall feel, though, for middle of the week. Thank you, David. Thank you for jumping on Facebook as we get you this edition of the NOWCAST. I want to let you know we'll be back about the same time tomorrow, and we've got a half hour's worth of news that's headed your way at noon on WSEE. We'll see you here tomorrow.